I'm very pleased to recognize Brad O'Leary and our chairman, David Keene, to recognize Secretary Donald Rumsfeld.
Texas margaritas, getting out of there.
Thank you. Our purpose today is to present an award that we present each year thanks to Brad O'Leary, a great friend of this conference and a great friend of all of us. We call it the Defender of the Constitution Award. And for the purpose of this award and describing it, I'd like to introduce Brad O'Leary, and at the end of that, we will bring out our recipient.
Thank you. Each year we pick someone to receive this award whose career kind of is similar to one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. And we search for a document that has been signed by one of those signers. This is a document that was written 200 years ago by President James Monroe. The document was signed when he was the ambassador to Great Britain at a time when Great Britain was our enemy and the French, headed by Napoleon, who wanted to be king of the world, was our enemy. And we picked it because their lives were parallel. Both the former president who wrote this document, and this is written by hand on both sides, and I want to give a little prestige to the document because this was personally written by the President of the United States. And they are rare to find, especially those that have meaning. And one of the reasons that they were parallel in their history is that they were both congressmen. They both were friends of presidents. Monroe advised Washington. He advised Jefferson, Adams, and Madison. Secretary Rumsfeld advised Ford. He was his chief of staff. And just like Madison, who was Secretary of War, he became Secretary of Defense. Somewhere along the line, we lost what we were doing with the military, and we think we're defending rather than at war with our enemies. But they both served in those prestigious jobs. They both were in the military. Secretary Rumsfeld came from the Navy, retired from the Navy as a captain, and he went back to service of his country as Secretary of Defense under George Bush when we were attacked perhaps by the greatest enemy we've ever had to face. And he has served in many capacities for Reagan. Reagan called him 8 times to do something, and 8 times he agreed to do it. So his career in many ways measures that of the former President of the United States. And it's a great privilege to honor someone who for many years, as CPAC has gathered to talk about what history will be or become, he's been part of that history that we talked about under Ronald Reagan and under the Bushes. He made tons of wonderful things happen for America, and he fought our battles against enemies, both foreign and domestic. We're going to bring him up, but we have another special guest who's coming up with him. David?
Secretary Rumsfeld, would you join us here for the